this Tuesday night, the Sun Devils are back on the grind as they return home for the first time in almost a month. Conference play got started last weekend, and the Devils took 3 important points up in Oxford. With 6 more on the line this weekend, it is full steam ahead as we get into November. Hi, everybody. Welcome into Season 4, Episode 4 of Hell Frozen Over, your source for the latest Sun Devil hockey news and notes. Streaming tonight on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app. My name is Tyler Paley, the team's play-by-play broadcaster and the artist formerly known as Shrek. We are here at Mullet Arena this week due to some unforeseen circumstances. We'll be here for this show. We'll keep everybody posted as far as our location moving forward. And joining me tonight and every show this year, Arizona State head coach Greg Powers, my broadcast partner Alex Coil. Gentlemen, good to see you. Coach, before we dive into dissecting the Miami series, tell us how the bye week was for your team in terms of rest, regrouping, and really the players getting to kind of mesh with one another all together.
Yeah, it was good. It was really 2 weeks of just kind of resetting and building more trust with everybody within, coaches, players alike, and getting everybody to try and, just kind of, like you said, further mesh together so we can perform on a higher level, and I think we did a really good job of it. We had great practices, guys that spent a lot of time together. I had the team up to my house for a barbecue last Thursday.
We didn't get the invite.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, that was intentional.
All right, that'll do it for Hell for now.
But it was a good 2 weeks, and we felt really good about what we did and how we went into Miami, and obviously, it started out with a really good win on Friday.
Yeah, the Miami series, game 1, we'll go game by game here. First, you guys fall behind early, but then it's really all you guys. I mean, 2 goals later in the first period, then your team really did a good job stifling Miami the rest of the way for a 4-1 win in that first game. How impressed were you with your team really gutting that one out from start to finish and closing the thing off to get those 3 points?
Yeah, it felt like we were, minus the first 5 minutes. We came out a little bit flat from 2 weeks off, but it felt like after that we were in complete control and never really lost control. So I thought it was a mature win by our guys. I think holding them to 20 shots is big. It was a really good defensive effort. I thought Haz was really sharp when he had to be. Those are some of the toughest games when you don't see a lot of pucks, but you get 4 or 5 grade A's and you make the saves, and that's what he did. And then we pulled away late, and it was a really good road win.
Yeah, it was first game for Jack Beck and Brasen Boser. We'll get to Boser in a moment. But Jack Beck playing on a line with Cullen Potter. It seems like those two meshed really well because of the speed with which they both play. Why was that an advantage, and how good was Beck night 1 and compared to your expectations?
I think we didn't expect him or Bose to be world beaters in their first game back, but they made a huge impact. And Becker is a really cerebral player that can also skate. So he thinks a couple steps ahead. That's where he's really, really good, and he always knows what he's going to do with it before he gets it. He knows Potsy's going to be flying through the middle of the ice, and he's going to find him and hit him with speed, and he did a really good job of that. That chemistry is only going to get stronger and stronger as they continue to practice together and play together. So really, really pleased with how they performed together this weekend, and it's only going to get better.
Johnny Waldron was also on that line. What did you make of his play? He got on the score sheet as well in his return to Miami.
Made a lot of nice plays. You could see the cerebral player that Johnny is on the other side, and how his ability to get pucks off the wall and make plays and plays with his head up. He too knows what he's going to do with the puck before he gets it. He's got scoring touch too that he hasn't shown yet. So his game is coming. His confidence is growing. He spent 3 years in another program. Sometimes it takes kids a month to really, let her rip and feel like they're a part of a new program. And that's what's happening with Johnny. I think, it was probably healthy for him going back to Miami, where he spent 3 years and officially closing the door on that chapter and really jumping in with both feet here. Not that he hadn't jumped in for both feet, but he, I think, mentally now is really ready to do it and take a big step here.
Yeah, you could tell some of the Miami players. I know they have 21 of 28 new players, but it felt like he had a bit of a target on his back.
Yeah, he definitely did.
To be expected. You mentioned Connor Hasley in Game 1 in particular. He has shown flashes of great play throughout the season. There's no question about it. But he really settled in, only faces 20 shots like you mentioned, makes some huge saves when they count. But having that ability to truly kind of settle in and win a complete game, how much do you think that benefits him in the long run?
Well, hopefully it does. We obviously hoped that it was going to benefit him and us on Saturday, and it ended up not. But, he was really good Friday, and that's why I went back with him Saturday. He earned the right to try and get the sweep because of how he performed on Friday, and it just didn't go our way.
We've spoken so much about how up and down the line chart there's so many guys, but each of the top 6, every single one of those guys at least found the score sheet on night one. To have that depth and to spread the wealth like that, how good was that to see?
It was really good. I mean, we need our top 6 to be really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any team does, and I think that we've shown over the course of 8 games the depth that we're going to have up front. With the Penn State weekend, it was a lot of morale and Nash and Alfano generating for us, even a little bit in the icebreaker. Smullen and Powell have done their thing. They did it in the icebreaker too against Notre Dame. Carmelo's got a goal for us. You see Ben now as Kevin has 3 goals for us. So we're getting some pretty balanced scoring. We just need more of it in general, and it's going to come.
Game 2, for a lot of the first portion of the game, felt like a similar story. You guys fall behind early, answer back later in that first period, and then ultimately take the lead in the second. But then it was Miami that struck with 3 unanswered goals. What happened in that really short time frame to kind of swing the game, and why wasn't your offense able to respond? Game
2, actually, we felt like we were in more control halfway through the game than we were in game 1. We were actually playing really good hockey 5-on-5, tons of possession time, generating more chances. Their goalie was really, really good. Our power play was not great. You get the 5-minute major in the first period. Their best player takes it, gets kicked out of the game. You have to find a way to put your skate on their throat and end them, and we didn't do it. I think it gave them life, even though they didn't. We got the lead in the second period. You could tell there was a juice and a mojo to their team once they killed that off. And, and then 8 minutes left in the second period, you're up 2-1 and you blink and you're down 4-2. And that's what this team has to stop. One mistake on a shift can't lead to 3 other mistakes by guys on the ice doing more than what they're supposed to do. And that's kind of the mantra all week is you guys know they have a job to do defensively. And you got to do your job. When something else breaks down on the ice, you can't do 2 or 3 people's job at once. You just got to do yours. And generally, when you do that, things settle in and you give up less. But I think mentally, with a young team, it's just got to be, understanding the importance of how huge that next shift is after you get scored on or after you score a goal. It's that next shift mentality is so important. And shift after goal is arguably the most important shift of any game. So if you just score and you're on the ice, and your coach has you got to wear it as a badge of honor to keep momentum. If you get scored on, you got to wear it as a badge of honor to stop their momentum and get momentum back for your team. Yep. So we need to have guys embrace being chosen to take those big shifts and not allowing one bad shift to turn into 4 or 5 in a row. And that's really what has haunted us in a few games is just 4 or 5 bad minutes, you know, and that's all that happened Saturday. Other than that, we played a good game, but once they got up 2, they packed it in. They really packed it in the neutral zone, didn't allow any transition. We had to get in. Yeah, we had blocked a lot of shots. We had to get in behind them and grind it out, and we just didn't happen.
Is avoiding the snowball effect, the bad shifts in a row, is that something that comes away with time? Because it feels like that's not something you can rep really in practice. It's more of a mindset.
Yeah, it's mental, it's mindset, and it's experience. That's the biggest thing, right? Like that. I think it's just experience as a group. Understanding how important it is to take ownership of being the guy or being the line or being the D pair that gets momentum back for your team. And we talk about it in practice all the time. Like you let a guy has a bad rep in front of you. You can't let that rep make it a bad rep for you. You got to fix it for the guys that are up next. So it's just a mindset thing that we consistently work on with our guys, and they'll be fine. It's just I think the best way to learn, unfortunately, is through experience, and we've experienced it hopefully for the last time this year.
Quickly to jump in, I don't want to talk about last year's team too much, but is that where the guys like the Schlains, the veteran leadership that you guys had, the doers, kind of ended that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it just didn't happen,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean,
Sure.
it was a really old, experienced group with Artie and Kerwin and Silly and the Jacksons and Murch and, I mean, the list goes on, right? So, it was just a really, really old veteran group that has been through it, and so you didn't see any of that happen. And again, like the only way to get it out of your system is to experience it and
Sure.
understand how important it is to, wear that next shift as a badge of honor. You have to think of it that way.
I know this is a show about Sun Devil hockey, but I do want to ask you kind of writ large. You've seen a lot of good players on opposing teams over your years coaching this team. In the first 4 series, you've already seen Gavin McKenna, number 1 prospect in next year's NHL draft. We just saw Ilya Morozov, who's highly rated, could be a first-round draft pick. We'll see Keaton Verhoff up in North Dakota in 2 weeks' time. How good is that for the sport to have these top-notch talents here in the college hockey landscape?
Yeah, it just shows how good college hockey is now. With all the best amateur players in the world and guys that are trying to go to the NHL are coming to college hockey to develop. And I think it's made everybody really good. The floor, the basement of college hockey has been dramatically raised this year. I mean, you look at a really good team like Denver. They've lost to Lindenwood now. They've lost to Anchorage now. They tied Air Force. There's so many examples of that happening around college hockey. It's just not quite settled yet. I think to get a really clear picture of what this year and what the scope of pecking order may look like long term this year, it's going to take till well after Thanksgiving.
Okay. Kind of leads me into my next question, which is sweeping on the road. I mean, you've said since I've known you that it's really hard to do, and today it's kind of increasingly rare. Why is that so challenging to do in today's landscape, or does it really not have anything to do with the landscape today as opposed to a few years ago?
It's just hard to sweep. Period. I mean, everybody's good, so if you lose Friday, especially at home, you're going to be desperate and urgent to not get swept on home ice. And we felt like when we played Penn State the second night, we were in complete control of the game till 10 minutes left. You give up a shorty, and then a young team just kind of crumbles. And look, that team, as soon as they got a little bit of mojo in them and tied it up at 2, I think they had 2 shots the entire period, the first 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And they didn't have anything going. They had no momentum. We had the puck really the first 12 minutes of the second period, had multiple chances to go up 3-4-1, and their goalie was really good, held them in it, and the building got life, got energy, and that's what happens in college hockey. It's an electric atmosphere, and you guys have seen it here. When this building gets life and we start to play downhill with that, exuberance and confidence and swagger, we are really, really hard to play against here.
Yeah.
So, and it's pretty much like that in every building.
You alluded to it a moment ago when we were talking about those individual players, but just some other of those eye-catching results last weekend around the league. Western Michigan split with St. Cloud State. Denver, of course, lost to Alaska Anchorage. Omaha was the only team in the NCHC to actually sweep, and they swept your next opponent, Colorado College, who we'll be talking about here in a few minutes. Is that what you're kind of expecting to see, not only around the NCHC, but more around college hockey this year?
Yeah, I mean, wins are going to be hard to come by. You embrace. You get 3 points. You get a regulation win. You embrace it, and there's no such thing as an ugly win, because it's just hard to win. There's 64 teams. It's not like college basketball where there's 300 and some odd teams and it gets a little watered down. It's not like college football where there's 115 teams and it gets a little watered down. There's 64 teams, and this is an international, level where kids from all over Canada now are playing here. Kids from all over Europe are trying to play college hockey. It is really, really good. It's a very high level of play, and it doesn't matter who you play, and that's what, some, random sports fans might think, oh, they got swept by a school called Augustana.
Yeah.
Augustana's really good.
They're good.
They're a legitimate team. They're going to win 20-plus games. They might win their conference. They might be an NCAA tournament team. Everybody's good. So it's exciting. It's good for the game. It's good for the sport. But there are just no layups in college hockey. It's just the proof's in the pudding.
Just to put in perspective, I think I saw Boston University, like one of the blue bloods, is like 60th in the NPI right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you, yeah. Our guest tonight is Brasen Boser. How important was it to get him back in your lineup after missing the first 6?
Huge loss to not have him. He's a cornerstone of our D now and for the next 2.5 years after this. So, he's just calm and steady, and he had a huge off season. He put on 20 pounds of muscle, and just his ability to break pucks out, not only with the traditional way, but he can do things with his feet that just help a team out so much, whether it's extending play in the O-zone and with his feet and jumping into holes and creating offense and putting the opposition on their heels. He just brings a nice calming presence for our D-core that we really need.
Among the many positives to take away from last weekend. Plenty to look forward to on Friday and Saturday here at Mullet Arena, and we will preview ASU's next 2 series coming up in the 3rd period. Up next, Sun Devil defenseman Brasen Boser joins us to discuss his return to play and much more. Our conversation right after this quick break here on the Mountain America Credit Union Sun Devil Radio Network. Thanks for sticking with us for the 2nd period of Hell Frozen Over. It's our hour-long show talking all things Sun Devil hockey. We're live from Mullet Arena tonight. We'll be here for the next couple shows. We'll keep you posted on social media as far as our location moving forward. But don't forget, our final show of this month before we have December off is Tuesday, November 18th. At 6 p.m. We certainly hope you make some time to join us. Look, we've all heard the saying, defense wins championships, and make no mistake, ASU wants to win a championship this year. For the first 6 games this year, they were missing an impactful point man in Brasen Boser, a guy who's known for his strong decision-making with the puck, and getting him back last weekend was a breath of fresh air. Couldn't have come at a better time. Bose joins us now here on Hell Frozen Over. Great to see you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So first things first, how are you feeling? How did recovery go on what we heard was kind of a freak accident just before the season started?
Yeah, I felt pretty good this weekend, actually.
Good.
I was able to keep skating and stay in shape, so stepping into the games, it wasn't terrible at all. So
good.
Played a lot of minutes, too,
Yeah,
out of
I'll
the
say
gate.
so.
I was very impressed with that idea. Missing 6 games, it gives you an interesting perspective, though. What did you see from the D-core, and how have you guys worked to improve upon that?
Yeah, I think going into the Penn State weekend, we're a young D-core, obviously. We have 3 sophomores, 1 junior is our oldest player. So we had some young guys that had to figure out what their game was like in college, and I think we're starting to finally figure out what we are and what we're capable of. So going forward, I think we're only going to be better. We started off not exactly how we wanted to, but going forward, I think we'll be pretty solid back there, someone you can rely on.
And on that note, how challenging was it for you? I mean, I trust you're a guy who constantly wants to be out there, play as many shifts and minutes as possible. To sit out the first 3 series of the year, considering you played in all 37 games for Arizona State a year ago.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, you kind of go through your whole summer process, especially college. It's much longer than junior, and you're looking forward to that Penn State at-home weekend. And then the week of the first game, I fractured my wrist, and obviously it's a little bit upsetting. But I think it was good to watch from up top and see what we had on the ice, and I think taking positives from it is all I could do.
Yeah, I think what you guys have on the ice is a lot of skill, a lot of talent, but a lot of young versions of that. How fun, though, is it to spend a summer with this group, be on the ice with the group, and continually get better as you're battling against one another every day in practice?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, like especially a place like this. Like there's 61, 62 other worse spots you could be. So coming here over the summer with all the guys, it's awesome. And I would say we had 85-90% of our team here most of the summer training together and skating. So it's really special to be able to do that and become closer as a group throughout the summer.
Before we dive into the Miami series, I want to ask you about the bye week. And obviously you hadn't played any games up to that point, but the timing sure seemed great considering what you guys had been through to that point. How was the bye week for the team?
It was good. It was good. We kind of all, you sit in the room like this, all the coaches are out, and you kind of just talk and figure out what's going wrong. What do you guys got to do better? And I think it was good for us because we needed that reset and take a step back and figure out what the internal problem is so we could fix the external and stuff.
How good has the leadership group been with that process? Because there are some guys that have been everywhere in college hockey that are leading this room.
Yeah, they've been great. Like especially with, I mean, we haven't played terribly, but we haven't played to what we are.
Sure.
So they've been hard when they need to be hard, and they've been easy on us when they need to be easy on us. I think they've done a good job of handling the bounces thus far, and obviously Becker's back, I'm back, like we're a full roster again, and I think we're only going to keep improving. So
how was that party at Power's house that I assume you were invited?
I mean, I don't know if I should talk about it.
Oh, okay, it's one of those.
Yeah.
We'll move right past that one. All right, so last weekend at Miami, you get to make your debut. Your team splits the series. Walk us through in Game 1 how you guys really shut the door and held Miami to just 20 shots on net.
Yeah, I think coming into the weekend, we really wanted to focus on our puck possession more and, just keeping the puck on our stick and moving the puck as a 5-man unit up the ice, and I think we did that well. And to be able to close out the game the way we did was very, very mature for a younger group, and it was a big step in the way we need to go.
Breaking out the puck as a decor was something that was struggled with at times in that first 6 games. Coach Powers mentioned that is one of your biggest strengths.
Yeah.
What goes into breaking out a puck correctly as a D-man, and how are you guys going to continue to improve in that area?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's obviously knowing your partner. In those first couple games, like we had just been placed with those partners last second. Obviously, I was injured. I was playing with Shelberg before that, so before those first couple games, like we had completely different D pairs, and I think it takes a sec to figure out your partner and where they're going to be, when they're going to be there. And another part of it is just communicating. When you're the first defenseman back, you're kind of relying on the second person to be your eyes to communicate where to put the puck and stuff. So I think we're figuring that out slowly.
8 games in, what do you see as this team's biggest strengths and perhaps biggest areas of opportunity to improve?
Our biggest strengths are we can be lethal, and we're going to improve on that. I think this weekend we did a really good job of possessing the puck in the O-zone and creating offense. We just didn't bear down on the chances we need. So I think that's a spot that we can improve on tremendously, is just when we get those chances. Like we could have beat Miami on Saturday, no question. And another aspect is defensively, I thought we were a lot better this weekend.
Without question.
Agree?
Yeah. So just preventing the puck from going in your net is how you win games.
Biggest areas of opportunity? Like where is the ceiling the highest for this team? Not that you guys have an area that's like a glaring weakness so much, but where can it even be better?
I think that we have outstanding power play players.
Agreed.
And I think once that gets clicking, I mean, even last year you saw, like, not that the power play started slow, but towards the back half of the season, they were on the ice. You're like, all right, we're
just
going up 1.
Literally the best in the country.
Yeah. So, like, once they get going, it's wraps from there, because I don't think that there's any PK that can really compete with what we have on the power play.
It's true.
Yeah. You personally, let's get into the history of you playing hockey. Where did it start? Why do you love the game, and why are you here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty typical story. I'm from North Dakota, grew up, my dad had an outdoor rink in the backyard. He played hockey growing up, so he put me into it, and I think the backyard rink in the backyard, sorry, just double down on that.
Is it still there?
He doesn't put it up anymore because me and my brothers are all of age to where it's not as cool anymore. But
I'll go skate there.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah. I think you just fall in love with it there. You have your buddies over every night after dinner, and once the light turns off, you got to come in. But you want to stay out for hours, and you're not even focusing on working on anything. You're just playing hockey.
Sure,
it's the best
having
thing
fun.
ever. Yeah.
You grew up in Minot, and my understanding is you were a fan of the North Dakota Fighting Hawks growing up. Do I have that right?
Yep, was.
Yeah, was. Yeah, past tense.
Yep.
You guys play, I don't know if you know this, you guys play at North Dakota in just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
How exciting is it for you to go back home-ish and play it at Ralph Engelstad Arena?
It's cool. It's something I've always wanted to do, is beat them. So, I mean,
you got that last year.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, no, it's going to be cool. I'm going to have a lot of family there, a lot of friends that still go to UND and stuff, so I'm going to have a lot of emotions and stuff, but it's going to be good. Like, we're going to go there with our heads down, and we're going to bowl right through that building.
You also played in the USHL for Fargo, of
Yep.
course, so like North Dakota is a big part. What did playing there mean to you as far as being so close to home and rising to that level?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I previously had moved away from home pretty young, so being able to go back, not technically home, but a drive away from my parents and family members, and I had family in Fargo actually, so being close to them, and obviously growing up, I went to Fargo games all the time for youth tournaments and stuff, so it was cool to play there.
I want to ask you about one thing off the ice, and I promise this is my only non-hockey related question. But you were named to the NCHC All-Academic Team over the summer. Your performance in the classroom for during your freshman year. How much have you enjoyed your classes here at ASU? Tell us about what you're studying here.
Yeah, I'm in a sports business degree, so it's not the hardest degree, but it's not
Sounds
easy
pretty
by
hard.
any means.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of refreshing. You know, you do juniors and you're out of school. I did online high school, so going back to class was a little bit refreshing. You know,
Sure.
like walking around campus. It's a pretty cool campus to walk around.
Not
yeah.
bad, right?
February comes, it's 60 degrees out, and yeah, no, it's been pretty fun to be back in the classroom.
We've asked all our guests some version of this question so far, but what should the fans who are watching, listening right now know about this Arizona State team and really how connected all of you guys are this year?
I think from the outside it's hard to really see, but I think like every single night we all live at the same building basically. The freshmen live in the freshman dorms, but we're all basically at the same building. So every single night we're in someone's room doing something. Like Dowdy and Corty's rooms are right by me. So when I'm done with class, everyone's door is unlocked. You just go pop your head in and say what's up. So it's a really cool experience actually that we're all right there together.
Who do you live with, and do you guys have an open door policy?
I'm with Shellberg,
Okay.
and I would say we're 50-50. Shelly likes his alone time, so.
Okay, that's good to know. We'll have to
Yeah.
ask him about that
Yeah.
when we get him on the show.
Yes.
Colorado College this weekend. They have plenty of returners. They're pretty banged up, honestly, to start the year. But we know from years past, as do you, that they're a tough team. How are you guys approaching that series to open up conference play here at home?
I would say so far we're sticking to us. I mean, we know they're a good team. Everyone in this league is a good team.
Yeah.
But I think we took steps last weekend in Miami, and we're going to try and continue on what we built in Miami and bring it into Colorado College.
And this will be your season debut at home, obviously. How exciting is it to be back here after nearly a month that the team has been either away or on the bye week? And what do you love about playing here at Mullet Arena?
I would just say the atmosphere. Like, it's a 5,000-seat arena. We could probably sell 10,000 fans. So it's like everyone's itching to come to the games. Like, you're walking around and people are seeing us in our Arizona State tracksuits saying they love to come to the games. So once we get this place going, like, you're up 2-3 goals, like, it's probably the coolest place to play. Just the music's bumping, everyone's on their feet, and it's a really good atmosphere.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I'll tell you what, I will speak on behalf of your entire team. I know they're excited to have you back, and for all the fans out there, you won't have to look hard to see the impact that Brasen Boser is making on defense. Bose, appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend, and we will see you on Friday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Brasen Boser. When we return to Health Frozen Over on this Tuesday night, Coach Powers rejoins the show for the third period to help us preview Colorado College and North Dakota. Stick with us. We're back in a moment here on the Mountain America Credit Union Sun Devil Radio Network. Back in Tempe for the third period. You're listening to Health Frozen Over live tonight on the Mountain America Credit Union Sun Devil Radio Network from Mullet Arena. Our next show, Tuesday, November 18th from 6 to 7 p.m. We certainly hope you make some plans to listen live here on Fox Sports 910. Coach, we asked you this 2 weeks ago, but after Miami, what's your assessment of your new look power play units?
You're going to see different looks this week.
Interesting. Why?
Okay.
We need to find a mojo, right?
Okay.
Like it's not there yet. It's scored some goals, but situationally, I'm just not happy with how it's performing when we really, really need it. You can go back to, being up both games against Penn State late in the second period with a power play in the last 2 minutes, not extending the lead. Second game against Penn State, giving up a shorty, up 2-0 with 10 minutes left, and then having a 5-on-3 for a minute 30 to win the game, not scoring. There's been a lot of moments outside of Alaska where it's had a chance to extend a lead or get us a lead or tie a game in a crucial moment, and it just hasn't done it yet. And this weekend was one of them, obviously the 5-minute major that we didn't score on, and then so many different chances throughout the game to either extend or tie it or whatever, that we just didn't get it done. So it's close. There just needs to be, I think, some tweaks, and we're working on it. That Bo's just said exactly what we all feel. We know it's going to happen. We know it's there. We know the talent's there. The skill level's there. The buy-in's there. We just need them to almost have that mindset, that assassin mindset that we talked about, where, you know, when you that the power play is the one unit that I do put pressure on to score, because it's their job, you know, and you know that pressure is what they call a privilege, right? Like everybody in this locker room that plays here wants to be on the power play. That's a very privileged place to be, and if you're on it, your job's to get us goals. It's simple as that, you know. And a great power play fails 75% of the time,
right?
You know, so at the very least, you have to get us momentum, right? You got to get us positive momentum to start playing downhill. And I just don't feel like it's done that yet. We've taken 7 penalties on the power play. We've given up 3 shorthanded goals in 8 games. It just hasn't gotten the job done. And at the end of the day, it's on me more than anybody, and that's why I'm making changes, because we need it to be better.
The shorthanded goals thing, it feels like that is, you know, I could be way wrong and just recency bias, but it's happening more than it has in the past consistently. Is that a structural thing, or is that just a fluky play that just all of a sudden turns into a rush the other way?
It's just situational and puck management and just, I think, more than anything, having more urgency. You know, it's almost like a mindset right now where, you know, our guys are going out on the power play going, okay, we can kind of tick it around and dust it off and kind of be laissez-faire until something perfect happens. Just because you have an extra stick on the ice doesn't mean you can take it off. Their kill is putting their hardest workers out that are coming at you, that are doing everything and anything they can to win a puck and send it 200 feet. So you can't take it off mentally. You can't take it off physically. You have to be aggressive. You have to have, you know, like I said, that kind of assassin mindset. And that's what we're focusing on most with the guys that are going to be on that top unit, and hopefully it starts to click this weekend.
I hope this is your quickest answer of the night. It's time for our weekly injury report. Any new injuries heading into the week?
Right now, no. We're in great shape. A couple kids that are a little bit sick and not feeling good, but that missed practice today, so hopefully we'll get them back here this week. But
so with that note, how did it feel this past weekend to have your full roster available for the first time in over a season and a half?
Yeah, it was over a season and a half.
That's wild.
It felt good. It would have been nice to get a sweep with it, but you know, with 2 huge pieces like Beck and Bose just hopping in, and you know, it's not going to be perfect right away, but it's really nice to have the options that we have and the depth that we have. It is a luxury that we haven't had in a long, long time.
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we are 1 game shy from a quarter of the season being over with. If you had to pick an area of your team that's pleasantly surprised you up to this point, what would it be?
I think we can improve in every area.
Sure.
But I would just say the most important thing to me is just the quality of human being that we have in here. You know, it's just a really, really good group of kids that are all in it for the right reasons. Everybody cares. Everybody wants to win. Nobody in here cares who gets the credit. We just want to try and figure out what the best way we can do to get and string out a bunch of wins and get this thing going where we know we can get it to.
Let's dive into the next series. Colorado College, always a formidable opponent, but the injury bug has hit them hard this year. Obviously, never an excuse not to prepare for their best. What should we know about this CC team, and what are you expecting from them?
They're still a really good team. They got a couple really good D out, obviously, but they got, you know, one of the most experienced and decorated goalies in the country. And when you have that, you have a chance to win every game.
Yep.
You know, and they have a really good forward group that's deep and talented, and a guy that played 3 years here that's doing really well for them, and Ryan Alexander. So, you know, they're a really good team. They're well coached. They're stout. They're big. They're not easy to play against. They're a really good hockey team.
You mentioned in the conversation on how hard it is to sweep a team. I think in this case, they're coming off of a tough weekend. They're going to play with desperation here this weekend. You guys were able to get 3 points on the road, which, again, you know, you don't want to worry about wins and losses necessarily, but to get that math away from home, you also have to sweep at home. What's the desperation from your team this weekend?
Yeah, we need to get Friday. It's what the focus always is, and it's always a bit of a stinger when you get Friday and you feel like you were, in control of a game and you set yourself up so well to sweep on Saturday, whether you're home or away, and you don't get it done. But this team, like you said, that I don't think anybody in Omaha's a really good team too, especially with their goalie. But I don't think anybody thought that Omaha would go in and sweep CC. I didn't, and so CC's going to be desperate. They're going to be urgent. They're going to come in here with some serious mettle to get some conference points that they didn't get last weekend. So we're going to have to be really, really good.
Not to bring up bad memories, CC was the only NCHC team to have a winning record against you guys a year ago, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
Is it fair to assume that Sam Urban will start at least one game this weekend?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Have you made the decision on who will go Friday?
He's going to start Friday.
Okay, and then you'll go from there on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yep.
After CC, we hit the road for the third time up to we hit the road for the third time up to Grand Forks. 2 games with North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks, in my view, look like the real deal this season, and of course their starting goaltender is former Sun Devil goaltender Gibson Homer. What should we know about UND?
Really talented team.
Yeah.
Really talented, deep D-core. Arguably the best and deepest D-core in college hockey, probably is. So, look, like they're really good. So we're worried about them next week. There's going to be plenty there to worry about and focus on. But it's going to be great to go up there. We've never played at the Ralph, so it'll be our program's first. We've obviously played them in Vegas in front of 18,000 other fans. But
who won that game again? Remind me.
And then last year here. So it'll be great to get up there and experience that place. And they get a great program. We get a ton of respect for them. We're excited to do that. But the focus is Friday night against CC and getting another 3 points and doing what we can to take care of home ice.
Have you ever been to the Ralph?
I've never been.
You've never been. Okay, that'll be a bucket list trip. I know Alex is looking forward to it. Alex, I know you and I were talking about this before, and I'm curious, Coach, your thoughts. You do an annual donor trip, and that will be the donor trip this year. How exciting is it? Obviously, they have a massive fan base there that turns out all across the country. But how exciting is it to bring a taste of home with you to Grand Forks and have some Sun Devil support there?
Yeah, 40, 50 people will come up with us on our plane, and it's going to be really cool. And I think it's going to be great for our fans and some of our greatest supporters to go up and see how passionate another fan base is and how some of their traditions are and everything that makes that program so good. So it's going to be a great experience for everybody that decides to go.
Last one before we let you go for the night. Just put in perspective for us, because I think sometimes we get lost in kind of the minutia of the week-to-week grind that this season is. How important is this 4-game stretch here as you guys make your way through November and conference play rolls on?
I mean, you look at the entire month of November. I mean, we got CC at home, then at North Dakota, then a home against Denver, then home against Ohio State. So, the month of November is a tremendous opportunity against incredibly tough competition to really set what this team can be, and really establish what our identity needs to be to have success and what kind of mettle we have inside of us. So I'm excited to see what we can do and what we will do, and it all starts Friday against a really good CC team.
Well, I think that makes 3 of us. Coach Greg Powers with the latest here on Health Frozen Over. His Sun Devils hit the ice Friday and Saturday here at home against Colorado College. You'll hear from him on our pregame show beginning at 6:30 on Friday. Coach, appreciate you as always. We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.
3 periods down, much more to come in overtime. When we return, Alex and I will give our thoughts on the first NCHC series of the season, and we'll preview CC and UND. Stick with us, Health Frozen Over. Back in just a few minutes here on the Mountain America Credit Union Sun Devil Radio. Back at Mullen Arena for overtime here on Health Frozen Over. Tyler Paley, Alex Coil, glad to have you with us. I'll be honest with you, sir, the bye week feels like a distant memory now. It was incredible for me to spend the weekend with my wife and daughter, but it felt a bit weird, just like on a random October weekend, not to have hockey. didn't
I
it?
got a lot of sleep in.
Yeah, well, that's
That felt good.
Yeah,
That's about all I did.
Hope you got that in
But
now
no,
because
right.
December, is the next time we get a break.
Well, look, and it came at the right time,
Yeah.
right? As we mentioned, to get Boser an extra week to be healthy, to regroup after a tough road trip, but to be able to right some wrongs and fix some things, and we saw that night one in Miami.
All right, so to anybody who may have listened to us this weekend, we're going to sound like a broken record here, but I was so impressed with Connor Hasley, especially on Friday. Got a ton of help in front of him, no question about it, but that was undoubtedly his best game of the year.
Yeah, it was, and we mentioned it wanting it to be a recalibration game. They took the pressure off of him, made some really big saves when they really needed him to, which was the knock early of the goaltending was just, coaches, all they want is make the save that you're supposed to make. Yeah. And then if you can add a couple of really, really great ones, that's awesome. We can steal the game, but make the saves that we need you to make, and he did that.
Yeah, 19 saves on 20 shots. You can't really ask for much more than that. And even the one goal that kind of bounced in, it was kind of one of those fluky goals. I mean, it counts all the same.
I mean, he took a high fastball the other way.
Right.
What else can you ask for?
What are you going to do? Yeah. And, but at the same time, that early, it kind of felt like, oh, man, are we in it, in the same situation again where ASU's going to fall behind and not be able to kind of claw their way back? They disproved that pretty quickly in the first period.
Yeah, and again, the offensive skill took over in that first game. The top six each had at least 1 point. Some of them had multiple points, and a lot of goals from that production. So to have your leadership, to have your best players raise their game, because we know the grinders are going to raise their game every single time, but to have the guys that you expected to score a lot of the goals come in, do that in your first conference game, made you feel really good, and made that a calm third period.
On the other side of the ice, a couple guys got their first goals of the season in Game 1. Jack Beck, of course. I mean, he had essentially the dagger doesn't officially go down as the game winner, but it's the one that kind of put it on ice, no pun intended. The one that flew under the radar, and rightfully so, is Cullen Potter. He netted the empty netter to make it 4-1 in the final. Obviously not as much pomp and circumstance behind that, but I think it's so important that he got that one off of his chest, and now it's out of the way, and he can go score at a high clip.
And continue to reward the good play that you've seen from him, because in that game, he got his 5th assist of the year, which tied him for a brief moment, the team lead in assists, before Bennett got 2 more later on in that game. But to continue to reward the play, even though it wasn't goal scoring from him, the stuff he's done in the defensive zone, the skating with intent as a 200-foot player has been a massive, massive improvement for him, and something that has been very valuable to the group.
I don't know how much reflecting you've done in the last couple of days, but I was thinking about on the plane ride home, actually, how that series went down. And for me, it was a bit tough to swallow just because, that first game was a masterclass in gutting out a win for a full 60 minutes. But then that second game, you saw the return of some key mistakes that cost the Sun Devils.
Yeah, and again, like I said post-game, it's really hard to, in the moment, when you're really frustrated from a loss. But if you take the emotion out of it and you look at the math of the conference and how, early season we were talking about math in the conference is just something to have hope for, and turns out in the 2 seed. But to have math, to take 3 on the road, right? The goal every weekend on the road is going to take 3.
Yep.
Your goal every weekend at home is to take 6.
Yep.
So if you can continually do those trade-offs, you're going to be in a good spot to host on home ice, have some more great playoff memories here at Mullet Arena, and set yourself up to make an NCAA tournament.
And theoretically, based on Arizona State's opponents in the first half of the year, you could theoretically go into that, albeit very short, December break in a good position, considering you have North Dakota and Duluth and Denver and CC on the schedule.
Look, you took 3 on the road and you're not happy with it, and you're tied for 3rd.
It's pretty good.
There were 2 teams that took more than 3 points, right? And so if you can, again, just find a baseline against these tough teams, you're going to be fine.
Right. Colorado College is next up as conference play is really in full swing now. They're banged up for sure, missing a couple key guys to injury, but we know this is a well-coached team by Chris Mayotte. We know how Caden Mbarico can shine in net. I mean, when he is on, he is lethal between the pipes. And look, CC is coming to Tempe. I mentioned this before, being the only NCHC team last year to have a winning record against ASU.
And it's really interesting because they're also a team that tends to get off to slow starts in seasons and then go on crazy runs in the back half of the year. I think 2 years ago when they missed the tournament by .0008 in the pairwise, and then last year too, and making a good run at it. But look, Arizona State Colorado College caught Arizona State at a good time last year. If there is any time to catch Colorado College at a good time, now is that. But you have to make it worth it and take those 6 points from them.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And, I said it to Coach, and I'm sure he understands, like, they cannot prepare as though CC is banged up and not as good as years past. They are preparing that they're going to get their best.
Well, but I also think it's a good thing that Arizona State's playing them when Arizona State has a lot of stuff to work on, because they can focus on, all right, we got to go out and worry about us.
Yep.
Like, we have to
Forget
figure
about
out
the opponent.
how Arizona State can play better. And then if Arizona State can play better, they can play better than the current Colorado College.
And then ramp up, right?
Correct.
You have North Dakota, you have Denver, you have Duluth. Like, these are powerhouse programs so far in the season. I think the North Dakota trip, we joke about it a lot, but I think it will be a blast of a trip. They have a fantastic hockey fan base. It's a top-notch barn that we've been waiting years to see. We've wanted to go on this trip for a long time. But look, the Devils, no question about it, will need to bring their A game, because this looks like a Fighting Hawks team that could compete for a Penrose Cup and beyond.
I mean, they've got the talent, that's for sure. First-year head coach, you never know what to necessarily expect. But so far, so good on that end. But, man, when you asked me that question, I'm thinking about how good would a win feel in that place. Remember how good?
Place would be silent.
Remember how good Vegas felt?
Unbelievable. I think we were both.
I don't know about you, but I was getting heckled walking into the hotel off the plane. As good of a fan base is, like, they do not like their opponents, and so to beat them at their building would be just unreal.
Oh, that's their and they have a football program, but that is their football program. Real quick, overall, how do you think ASU finds success in the next couple of weekends?
I think it's possessing, it's getting into the forechecking effort, and allowing the top 6 that they have all right in place to get a flow.
Let's hope that they can do all that. The Sun Devils back home this weekend. We hope you can join us. 7 p.m. puck drop Friday, 5 p.m. Saturday. You can watch both on nchc.tv, or you can listen here on Fox Sports 910, the iHeartRadio app. Pre-game coverage starts 30 minutes before puck drop. Our thanks tonight to Sun Devil hockey head coach Greg Powers and defenseman Brasen Boser for joining us. Also, a huge thanks to producer and engineer Sean Preston and his team for all their help. We will talk to you Friday, 6:30, for ASU and Colorado College. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Health Brazen Over. Until next time, I'm Tyler Paley. Good night.